relics. We have 3 angels in the building. We might be joined by a 4th later. Some of these wonderful people will be running relics for us at PAX and other places, hopefully around the this wonderful country. We have Griffin, Dale, and Melanie. And actually, since this is going out on YouTube, why don't you just quickly introduce your characters?
Go for it, Dale.
So tonight's character is what everyone knows and loves as quite literally Merlin, as in the Merlin and Arthur series. We have when Steve draws the signifier, that'll be my card when doing things to get the great success and all that. I'm able to help protect others with my miracles and all that. I can also create illusions and sounds that are believable. And I'm pretty much out to help teach people.
Nice.
I'll go next. My character's name is Zephaniah. He fell to Earth, to the mortal plane, roughly around 478 CE, so just after the Roman Empire fell. And his signifier is Hermit. He is an Isha. And pretty much his whole shtick is basically that he kind of felt that as the world was going, parts of the world were going into darkness, he felt that he needed to come to Earth and spread more truth, and became a missionary, and over time kind of drifted between particular religious sects to what he would deem as spreading the truth.
Nice. Yeah, there's a sort of a lot of overlap between you two. One of you is sort of like, I want everyone to know the truth of God, and the other one's more about like, I want someone to really mold in my image, mold for a certain role, which is interesting. And then we have Margie, is it? Melanie, can you hear us?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I was briefly distracted by reading about signifiers. Apologies. Hi, I'm Melanie. And tonight the character I'm playing is Tafiel, which means God nourishes. Tafiel has also been known by another name, probably more easily Googleable, as Margaret Fell, who was one of the founders of the Quaker movement in the UK. So the Quaker movement are a religious movement that were heavily persecuted at the time, and Margaret spent several rounds in jail for writing letters, because apparently that is bad.
Yeah.
Don't write letters and don't talk to people. So as an angel, she believes that she's here to understand humans and sort of observe what's going on. She is into sort of healing and building and breaking of people. So building groups and things to be able to create community and society. Things like the Quakers is right up her alley. But also, should damage need to be done, she can pull that stuff off as well through miracles or through her relic.
What was your signifier again?
I believe it's the Magician.
Right, so we have the Fool, the Magician, and the Hermit. Excellent, fantastic.
Because that was the first card I drew, so
yep, that's right.
It must be the Magician. Yeah, my additional notes are not on point.
Right.
So, Tafiel created Compassion and was all about sort of people being nice to each other a little bit. And she believes that punishment is wrong, and that's the thing that she was so frustrated with, and why she left heaven was because you must be punished and you will go to purgatory or hell for being naughty. And she was like, no, maybe some sort of reconciliation, rebuilding thing could work here, people. No, punishment. And so she went, bye. I'm going to go and sort that out.
Fantastic.
Teach people about it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Now, for a variety of reasons, all of you sort of ended up in Australia. in the recent times, coming in the last 30, 40 years.
Yep.
And all of you are living in and around Canberra. And
As you do.
it's something weirdly spiritual about that city.
It's the circles
Yeah, that's right.
and the lake.
Well, yeah, look, a person called Burley Griffin designed it. Yeah, that's definitely an angel's name.
Hmm.
Unfortunately,
Did you
I get too,
have a rock
I get too
garden?
dizzy going on the roundabouts.
Hmm?
Unfortunately, I
Did
get too dizzy going on the roundabouts.
My favourite place in Canberra may actually be the rock garden, which has great big lumps of rock. Like, we're not talking like fist size, we're talking like person size lumps of rocks from some key places in Australia. But I
Oh,
did
lovely.
geology, so
Fantastic.
there's like banded iron formation lump from somewhere. There's some pink granite from somewhere else, and sandstone from Sydney or something.
Cool.
Sort of a representation of what Australia is, all carted to Canberra and stuck in a field that no one gives a damn about. Except me.
I'm not sure how much you've told her, but your friend who is a Quaker understands that you have some interest in historical objects. So she works at the museum,
Excellent.
and she's actually called you to say that they actually got this new collection of things coming in from the Middle East, and
Ooh,
that you might be interested in having a look at some of the items.
very promising.
So do you want to head over there yourself, or do you want to grab some other angels that you know and go and check it out?
Do I like these guys, or are they just kind of around?
I mean,
Because you said that there's a limited number to the number of angels that are
the
down
reason
here.
that you all have memories with each other is that you all kind of know each other.
Mhm.
Whether you like them is often not an easy question. They are your allies, mostly.
Well, if they're my allies, then we'll need to work together and do
Certainly
this together.
you're on your side, whereas demons aren't. And also, it's like expats, right? If you're going to live in a country, you tend, like, if you move to China, you'll know all the other white people who live in your city.
Yep.
Because you just end up talking to them.
Have lived in the expat community overseas before. It is one of those cute little cliques that, yeah, it's a special place. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean now. Thank you for giving me that description, because now I know what to behave like.
Yep, that's exactly how angels are. They don't quite fit in, so they have to hang out with each other.
I think I am going to contact my friends and tell them that there's a delivery coming, and would they like to come along with me to see if we can find if anything has been uncovered that may be of use in the Eternal War or whatever it is that I think is going to motivate them to turn up best.
Zeph-
Are you guys on an Eternal War sort of front, or are you we're going to make humans better front? Like, what's the...
For Z, it's definitely his shtick is kind of like doing things behind the scenes, but he'll
Mhm.
probably come to help you based on just camaraderie. Like,
Yep.
like you know,
Cool.
you've probably helped him in the past with things, so he's like, oh, might as well like lend a hand. But
Mhm.
yeah, he'll be a bit reserved in how he's going to help, but he'll do a favor basically.
We're just looking at stuff.
Yeah, we're just looking.
I mean, having your knowledge would be excellent.
Mm.
And you?
Well, Meaden will definitely be in.
Yep.
Is after the betterment of humans, after all.
Mhm.
What better way to teach them with old relics that we've all been involved with?
Fantastic.
Excellent. So I drag my best buddies along, and we rock up at the gates to the museum, the back entrance, to meet my friend Sarah, who works at the museum. And we're just going to pop in and have a look through. She's used to me bringing these guys along. She knows they're cool.
Cool.
So we're just having a look through. Is that
However,
okay?
yeah, that's okay. But you're not going to. As you're getting close to the museum, you see that there are police cars pulling up. The sirens are blaring, and then all of a sudden you hear shots ringing out. And, gunfire being exchanged, shouts, screams, There's not enough like police presence here to have a cordon, so you can still run in the door. People are running out. What would you
Are
like to
angels
do?
immortal, or do we get killed?
Uh,
readily
We're
anyway?
durable.
You're durable.
Yeah.
So
You
we're
can-
harder to kill. Paintball won't kill us.
Like we don't really bleed or anything, but if we get like destroyed, like we can get annihilated and we just crumble to dust basically, but like
Correct.
a gunshot won't do it.
Yeah, but if somebody were to pump enough bullets into you, you would definitely die.
Mm.
And since the gates of heaven have closed, like usually when you were destroyed, you would just manifest back in heaven.
Hmm.
Now you're probably dead forever.
So it's permanent.
Yeah.
Can't go to a HR or the quartermaster for a new body.
That's right. That's right.
Damn, that sucks. I thought it was important to find out before I go and face bullets head on.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you like to do, guys?
Well, I would be following Tarfiel's sort of lead.
Yep.
So I just turned to Tarfiel, I'm like, so are we heading in or?
Well, it sounds like someone's hurting in there, so we probably should look into that.
Merlin, are you following with us?
Some
Yeah,
more cars are coming.
follow.
Another police car's pulling up into the front of the driveway, and another one behind it.
One thing I
That
can do
sounds
is
like
give
a
us a
selection.
believable illusion that we're part of the police force, if it would help.
Oh, yep. Good thing I was wearing my straight pencil skirt to start off with. Always goes well in a police uniform.
Hmm.
Sorry, it's a bit out of date.
So yeah, I'll actually do my miracle of creating a believable illusion
Yep,
that we're part of the police force.
fantastic. Any just uniformed officers?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Without the guns and all that, obviously, because probably going a bit too far for going that, but at least for the outfits.
I mean, the guns could be plastic. Actually, aren't the guns plastic? I don't remember.
These days.
Bless you.
Thank you. Hopefully
Right.
that wasn't too loud. I'm still
No,
learning how to
that's
sneeze
fine.
with a microphone.
As you get it, okay. So you're as you get a bit closer, you can hear the police sort of talking the radio, securing things. They're saying, "Subject is down. Subject is down. Subject is being restrained." And you sort of come into the foyer area. There's more police running past you. Someone yells at you to go and make sure everyone is out of the bathrooms and the cafe area, secure the area.
Mm-hmm.
But you notice that your Quaker friend, what is her name?
Sarah?
Yeah, so she's down on the floor and is being handcuffed.
What? Sarah?
Yeah.
No, that can't be right. Sarah wouldn't hurt a fly. Hang on.
Do I know that this Sarah is significant to you, Tarfiel? Or would I just be like, oh, why are you?
You'd probably ask, I
Actually,
guess. Yeah.
That's a good question. Do we actually know sort of who our friends' pet humans are and that sort of stuff?
It would depend on sort of. I think angels in general are fairly private,
Mm-hmm.
but it's up to you. You can say either way. Depends how
Okay.
much time you spend with each other.
Hmm.
Didn't
And
Melanie say earlier that we've all met Sarah?
Yeah, I
you
did.
Yep.
Okay,
So you
then.
have all met
Because
Sarah.
she knows them enough to not freak out when I bring friends.
That's right.
Um,
That's right. You did say that.
There's also a lot of people lying on the ground. People are injured. Now you can hear an ambulance coming as well. And there's you see the police. Two policemen now pick up Sarah
Mhm.
and start moving her out of the building past you. Another one picks up a bloody knife that was near her. There's some people. The other police are rushing over to victims and picking them up.
Can I
picking
intercede
them up.
and try and speak to Sarah while she's being carted away?
Yeah. The police are sort of obviously treating her like a suspect in custody.
Mhm.
Okay.
So they're going to sort of move her in a fairly straight line. But you could try to sort of take over.
Can I speak to one of the policemen and say I'll take over?
Yep. I'm going to ask for a test on that.
Certainly.
So this is a speaking test. Do you have any particular skills that really help?
Well, in this situation, I would say. From the skills I have, it would be really a stretch to suggest certain things. Like I have speaking to crowds, I have subtly suggesting things or convince others to join sides, which wouldn't really be applicable here, I feel.
Yep.
So just a generic speaking test, I guess.
Yep. Do you want to draw a card?
Yep, so it's just...
Just draw the top card off the deck and tell us the number and the suit. Or if it's a major.
Yep, so that is a 6 of rods.
Okay, so that's a failure.
Yeah.
So they're just... you're obviously guys are just at the wrong rank. And they're just like, it's all right, mate, we've got this. You turn to the wounded. We've got to get those wounds closed. They put her off and they just rush her past you, basically.
Fair enough.
Can we tell where they're heading to afterwards so we can track them down? She doesn't end up in
presumably
Guantanamo
they're
Bay or
police
something.
stations, but they're certainly going out to... Yeah, they're not going to disappear her, you imagine, but they're putting her in a car.
Okay. So I'm thinking that fine, we'll deal with the closing of the wounds because you know what? I'm real good at that.
Fantastic.
Now, I have my relic does that and I have my miracle does that. What's the difference in using one or both of those?
The relic is the object that contains the miracle.
Thank you for reminding me. That's really helpful.
So when angels first fell,
Mm-hmm.
they found their essence entirely contained in this relic, and it's only since the gates of heaven have shut that their relics have been waking up and the powers have been coming back in.
Okay.
So that's the item that you carry everywhere, and you need to be touching your relic to do the miracles.
Okay, well, it's a good thing I always have some tea handy because that's what my relic is. It's a small teapot with two separate chambers. And I am going to pour out a lot of tea for helping people get better. Now, how does that work with the effect that I have for my miracle is close or open wounds? I don't think I want to open any here. I think it's all about the closing. But how many people are in place?
Usually miracles don't require a test. They just work.
Yeah.
But they often have a trammel, which means they can only sort of work on once a scene or something like that.
Okay. So I don't have that written in on mine, but I think that's because I just didn't get around to it or don't understand.
Yeah. So once a scene is the standard, but sometimes you can have other kind of trammels like usually you have to be able to, as I say, touching your relic. If you wanted to work a little bit more powerful, you can have a greater trammel. Like you could, for example, do very good healing, like completely cure a wound if you give it to someone else, right? That would be a good example.
How would I give away my essence? That's silly.
For the relic that I have, or for the miracle I have, I've done the trammel where it's I can get people to tell the truth, but they have to consume something within the whiskey flask that I have. So that's like I have to figure out how they're actually going to consume whatever is inside the whiskey flask to get them to tell the truth.
Fantastic.
I don't think I want them consuming my relic.
What is your relic again?
Excalibur itself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can do that thing where they put. No, not what you're thinking of.
Hell, it's
melt it down.
Impromptu sword
Down, then drink.
Sorry, Steve. I'm silly. I know.
No, you're right.
Oh, good.
Highly amused, but silly.
I guess so. I'll ask.
Yeah, so you can sit down and you grab the first person, and you can just be, even though the other people who are in the museum are putting pressure on this person's abdomen to sort of close this wound, and you just sort of start pouring a bit of tea, and the wounds start closing up nicely. They'll still need medical attention, but they're not going to bleed out.
Cool stuff.
Anyone else doing
and that's
things?
the end of the game.
Yeah, I think I'll find someone, maybe another, like someone who was here when the incident happened. Maybe they're outside, maybe they're still inside, but I'll find someone and I'll just pull them aside and be like, hey, can you tell me what happened before everything happened?
There's a security guard who's standing right next to you, who'll be able to give you a statement. Yeah, sure.
I just kind of like
Uh,
put on airs a bit, and I'm like, yes, good evening. Could you please tell what happened tonight?
Yep. So he sees you as a cop, and he's just like, "Yep, absolutely. Look, uh, it was just insane. Like, basically, um, Sarah just started stabbing people. Um, she was working with the new exhibit, and then I heard screaming. I came in there, and there were two people lying on the ground, and then she started trying to stab me. So I just came running out here and called the cops. And then there was then this other guy came in and tried to get the knife off her, and then the cops showed up and they started shooting.
Well, thank you
Why
very
did they
much,
start shooting?
and I'll end the conversation.
Okay.
I think my next step is I'm gonna. Have they taken the knife away?
It seems so by now, yeah. Unless
Missed it.
What about other relics? Are they still there?
so angels can detect relics usually by touch.
That's what I was gonna do to the knife. Yeah.
So there's a whole museum of stuff here. There's a display being set up off to the to your left. There's also things all around this room. You can try to make a test, see if you can just spot them with your eyes, but touch is the best way to do it. You could wander through the museum, but
We should
the
already
moment-
know enough of what's in the museums for standard. We'd be looking for the new acquisitions.
Yeah, it's the new stuff that we were told about.
Yeah.
yeah.
That would be
So
handy,
so it looks like there's a new exhibit that was being installed.
Ah.
And it was going to be called Seeds of the Desert. And it was about things that came from desert climates around the world and how they overcome the difficulties of making art and historical artifacts when you have only sand and rock, basically. And it included some things coming from the Middle East and from Australian deserts, from the Atacama Desert in South America.
Mongolian
cultures
desert?
yeah, absolutely. Sure.
I'm trying to think of big ones.
Yeah. So there's basically just a collection
It's
of
the Gobi, isn't
of,
it? Not Mongolian desert.
the Gobi Desert and the I can't remember what they're called, the southern Mexican.
Oh, I know the one. It's the one with the big cactuses.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
the one with the big
So-
cactuses. We'll just call it that.
Yeah. So that was the theme of it. Was about how people can live in extremely dry climates and create art and history and things like that, and how that affects things.
That is a fascinating concept, and I would totally go to that exhibit.
Yeah. And it looks like, so from what you can see, obviously there's a lot of chaos. There's people running around still everywhere. Ambulance people are coming in now, but they were still setting it up. So there was scaffolding in there. They were putting the didactic panels up, erecting art, putting things in glass cases, and unpacking a few things.
I think I'm
Definitely
going to go
going
straight to the
once.
cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cases for us.
Well, I was actually thinking what was being unpacked.
Yep. So how do you want to okay, you guys can definitely go in there and explore because you look like cops.
And we're adorable.
People are being and mostly things. There's now enough ambulance people there to get the stab victims onto stretchers and start taking them away to hospital.
Are they all single stab wounds, or are they any multiple wounds that we've seen?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of multiple stab wounds. Yeah.
And can we trace a path as she went, sort of thing? Sort of, this was the last victim. This was the next
Let's
last.
have a test for that. So you draw a card.
Would you like to draw one for me? Because I don't have a deck handy.
Sure, of course. So I've got the 3 of staves. So unfortunately, you don't have enough criminology skill to really work it out.
That's okay. I don't associate with criminals unless they're adorable.
Yep. It's also quite a chaotic scene, and as there's been a lot of bullet fire here. You also do get a sense there that there's even a hole in the roof for some reason.
The hole in the roof,
So
does
it's a
it
lot
look
of chaos.
knife-sized, or does it look like bullet-sized?
It looks like something smashed. So something was either shot or somebody smashed something up at the top. There's definitely most of the things, most of the exhibits have been put in and installed. There's a couple of crates in the last section, which is the Middle Eastern Mesopotamian section that hadn't been installed. It looks like you've got a rough idea. Like some of the back of the room is like Africa, America, Asia, and then this bit is where they were working. This is where there were people being stabbed. There's blood on the floor. Something to do with these Middle Eastern artifacts, but exactly what you can't tell just from looking.
Okay. Are we able to? Are we? Is there still people around, or are we able to approach the unpacked artifacts, or at least the ones that are half unpacked?
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably enough chaos that you can just walk up, and again, you look like cops. So
Yeah.
there's.
All right. I'm gonna do that. I know that much.
Yep, there's a couple of crates here, and there's panels, plinths, things that surfaces have been prepared, glass boxes, and you could probably go through everything in these boxes and try to match everything up to a card. It'll take you about half an hour though to make sure that you've got everything, and see if anything's missing. So that'll take you a little while, or if you all do it together, it'll probably take about 10 minutes to just go through, because there's only about 9 items.
So
it's usually quicker when you have more hands anyway.
Are all three of us in the same room right now? I'd assume we are.
Unless somebody wants to do anything else. Yeah.
We are now.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So it's actually you just sort of push everyone else out of the way and go through all the environments, and you're quickly able to identify that there is one item missing, and it is something that is described as a ancient carving blade, about a foot long, with would have been made out of red iron. And
what's red iron? Out of curiosity, I don't recognize the term.
If I'm correct, I'll just make sure I am. It's basically a word for iron before they learned how to purify it a bit better.
Okay.
So it's got elements of copper in it.
Oh, cool! That look really pretty.
Yeah, so it's a red iron blade. Dates from about 10 to 15,000 years ago, from somewhere around Turkey, and would have had twine around the blade. That's the thing that's missing, and it does track that all the wounds you've seen have been long, deep puncture wounds, which suggests that maybe that was the weapon that was used.
You said we saw them picking up the knife. Would that be it?
Yep, that matches the description. It was quite a long blade. Yep.
Okay. But there's no point for us to be here. We have to be over at the police station.
Unless they're still here. Can we see which cop took the knife as evidence?
It was one of the police. It was a brunette woman. You remember that? You can go back out the front and see if they're still there. They probably were bagging it and taking it somewhere for evidence.
Did they bag it before they picked it up? As in, wrap the bag around it?
They would have, yeah. They used
do it properly.
They weren't just going, yeah. They had gloves on. They were securing the scene.
Cool.
And they were taking photos and everything. Yep. So if it's not out the front, and then someone is probably driving it back to an evidence locker now.
All right. The stuff that we just went through with the inventory, did anything ting any bells for extra reliciness?
No, nothing else was a relic here.
Nope. Cool. And that was just the stuff that was in the one crate, or did we actually have a look over everything else?
That was everything in the Middle Eastern section that was being unpacked.
Mm-hmm.
There's more things in the museum, but that'll take you another hour or so to sort of look through, probably. Maybe less.
What do you reckon, guys?
Go around and touch everything.
Just like in that.
Like a small child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has kids.
So I'll turn to the rest of the group and I will say, well, we could stay here and keep on trying to find more relics, but I have a good feeling that we need to find the blade-shaped one that has now been taken by the police. We should also check in on your friend to see if, what happened to her.
How long
very
will this
unlike her.
illusion of being cops last?
I'll say an hour, and it's been about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Milling around a bit. You've got time.
So we might as well try and speak to Sarah and try and find the knife if possible.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
That seems like the next steps.
Absolutely. So let's. I'm going to look up Canberra police stations.
Yay!
Find out where they're going.
Hmm.
On the flight research.
Yeah. I remember like the first time
Just gonna put
being
the
able
heater
to
on.
do this. Like when we first realized we could do this on the internet, like it was about 20 years ago actually now.
Yeah, be about that.
And we were like playing Buffy, and we're like, oh, we can just look shit up. We have Google now.
So confusing. Back in the olden days, you couldn't have Google.
Yeah. That's okay. I found. There we go. ACT police stations.
I'm surprised you could actually find that online. Strangely, like it just seems odd.
No, it seems
Yep,
like
they're going to take it to the city police station, which is in London Circuit, Canberra City, ACT.
Mhm.
And the so that's not far away from the museum. You can hear that over radios and things like that.
Awesome. Can we borrow a police car, or do we have our own? I mean,
You
we are
didn't
Australian,
arrive
so we
here.
probably have a car.
Well, this is actually an interesting question. So one of the things about Angels is that they're bad with technology because there's so much and it changes so fast, and they're not always able to do things that we assume that an average human can do. And this is a sort of key part of being an Angel is that if you go to page 67, 68,
Have it on the
Mhm.
We're the Internet
Things-
Explorer of humanoids.
yeah, so Angels can navigate through modern high society without being killed by unexpected threats. They can understand basic human concepts. They can read basic human body language. They can use a phone. They know how to type on a computer. They know how to use a toaster.
Drive a
But
car.
they cannot drive a car, speak a foreign language, fire a gun, find a specific
Yeah,
place.
there we go.
Yeah, so that page is really important. Know how to use a search engine necessarily. Understand complex cultural coded information. You can probably hear where a police station is and hear that it's a street, but you didn't arrive in a car. You might not own a car. If you want to own a car, now this is a time where you might want to call for a memory. Everything in the game is basically a memory, even if it sort of works like an asset. So the skill would probably be maybe fixing or fixing up cars or something, or running a garage or something like that, and it would allow you to have a car.
I have a really
but
cool
to do that-
idea for how to deal
Yeah.
with it. Well, I'm pretty sure that one of us knows someone who is a government driver for a government official, and
Yep.
they have a really snazzy car. And if they don't happen to be in the middle of driving someone, they love us so much that they will definitely drive us somewhere if we give them a ring and say, "Hey, dude, can you pick us up?" And I'm pretty sure they will have, because they're a government car, they'll have all the little bits and pieces they can listen into police radio as well. So they'll be able to help us out figuring out what's going on.
At least enough
Yeah.
to say that our superiors that we were riding with have driven off for things we need to go back to the station to give us a lift.
That sounds far simpler, but not as fun. There's no minibar.
So what was that you said, Dale?
So pretty much saying the superior officers we were riding with had to take the car to do stuff with the investigation. Can we get a lift back to the station?
You could definitely try that. Yes, but if you want, you can establish a memory that someone has, that you have access to someone with a car. So you have effectively 7 memory points, usually for a 3-4 hour session. For a 2 hour, you're not going to use them all, but you can say 5 or something. To spend a memory point, you just take one out of the pool.
Mhm.
But if you don't want to, we don't have to. And basically, it works exactly the same as the memories at the start. But you can call for a memory from someone else. So you can go like, I would like to know how to drive a car. Can someone please give me a memory? And another character will tell you the time that you were driving a car. So it works in reverse, basically. You call for the skill, and then they get to provide the memory.
Got it.
I
I think for
right.
the current scene moment, I reckon it would be prudent that we save the memories for like if we have challenges later on, because I think trying to get into the police station and trying to question Sarah is going to require a lot of like skill checks. So I think we should
Yeah,
bank on
absolutely.
just hopefully having our illusions last long enough for us to get back to the precinct, in the police station, I should say, in our current illusions, just in the squad car.
Or at least enough so
Fantastic.
we can get actual uniforms.
Oh, that
Yep.
too, yeah.
We might be
All
able
right.
to borrow something.
Right, so you guys are driving down. You manage to squeeze into a car that is remaining to get a lift into the center of the city, and within a little bit of time, you actually sort of you can actually think you can see some of the other police cars up ahead, and you notice that one of them seems to be driving a little bit erratically, and then all of a sudden, one of the cars just sort of turns off the road and screeches it into the middle of the center of the city, mounting one of those weird, straight across a roundabout, and starts screaming off down in the opposite direction. Um, the other cars sort of take a minute and then they flick on their lights and they're trying to sort of give chase. So is the person. So the police officer, Officer Daniels, is trying to give chase as well, and just starts spinning the car around and trying to give chase as best they can. You guys are in the back going, "Whoa!" What would you like to do?
Well, I was going to say that maybe we should suggest to like get the person driving to go faster, but they're already doing that.
They're trying their best. They're trying their best as I'm going to see how good they are at actually driving and whether. Okay, that's a 7. All right, so they're making progress, but they're doing a lot of damage to the car as they do it. They basically steered straight into another parked car and went around, and so the car is now making a bit of a smoke and clunking a little bit as they're trying to catch up. The other cars are basically trying to sort of get closer and closer to this car. Are you guys happy to just sort of hopefully wait until this person can catch up?
I'm just looking up to see what the wings of the eagle are. I'm trying to remember because I have some vague recollection. I can't.
All angels can fly, but if you have wings of the eagle, you can fly with the agility of an eagle and the speed of a jet.
I'm kind of okay. Is there some sort of don't let the humans see you do weird shit like flying around?
So there's no official masquerade or anything like that. Angels find it prudent not to just be magical because it tends to make humans flip out.
Oh, what's the fun in that?
But a lot of them just go, well, like there's no rules against it. Basically, it's just try not to draw too much attention to yourself is a general rule because it often gets you killed or worshipped or both. That said, a lot of angels basically learn to do parkour so that they look like they're just climbing over things really well, and things like that.
I'm definitely not flying. I'm bouncing off stuff.
One thing I want to ask, in this situation, can my dominion over intercession help at all? Which is to do with speed and to do with like teleportation and stuff like that.
So you only have the miracles you have.
Yeah.
But if we draw your signifier, you could definitely get a miracle that would help.
I see.
We have it.
All right.
Okay.
What I might actually, no, you guys you're basically just being passengers, right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. I'm still trying to think of a plan. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Eventually, the car, the car that's being pursued, crashes sort of into the edge of a tunnel, and then you see the other car sort of slowly start to drive towards it, and the door is kicked open, and there's a cop coming out, and he's holding the same knife, and there's blood all over their clothes.
Okay.
And they're sort of
I'm
looking
sorry,
around.
Steve. I have a particular episode in my head of Lucifer, and I'm like, no, please don't. Just put it aside.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I know the one you mean. I probably stole it by mistake, by subconsciousness. Yeah, so
I just thought
they
I should tell
look
you
around-
why I'm giggling off
All
the
right.
side.
Yep. So they're looking around and then they run down the tunnel, sort of towards traffic. But
I will
so the
definitely be getting out and pursuing them.
fantastic.
Please may I
All
do
right.
the parkour trick of just I'm just going to go very fast. It turns out that
Yeah, absolutely.
45-year-old women in long skirts can actually move at speed when they leap
Fantastic
over
stuff.
cars and bollards and whatever else
Yep,
is in the
yep,
way.
just going out. Yeah, fantastic.
I'll
At
just
a
All right.
fair
well.
click.
Even though I look
Um,
like a 60-year-old man, I'll still give chase.
Even though
Fantastic.
you look
All
like
right.
yeah, it's always fun.
It's this rich
Go, Dumbledore,
60-year-old
go!
parkour.
We might actually do this using the complex rules in this case. So what we're going to do is basically give everyone a blackjack hand. Does everyone know how to play blackjack, by the
Nope.
way?
Yeah.
Okay. So in blackjack, you are trying to get a score of 21.
Oh,
You get 2 cards.
okay, yep. I know how to play
so-
21. I don't know how to play blackjack.
All right.
I think it's
So
the same.
it's the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different names. So I've
Depends who's
dealt
playing with
you.
grandma.
I've dealt you, Melanie, an ace and a 6 for a total of 7.
Or
Um,
11.
Aces are 1.
Sorry, or
I thought they were 11.
or
Or a 10,
17.
it
Yeah.
depends.
17.
Yep. And I've dealt Griffin. You've got a 2 and a picture card, a
10.
major arcana. Yep. So you've got a 12, and for Merlin, we've got the Knight of Swords, which is a 10, and the 2 of Clubs. So that's a 12 as well. The dealer at the moment has 7 and 8, which is 15. And the dealer's probably going to stay on that at the moment. And hang on, let me just check if there's any. Nobody drew any. Nope.
What were Dale's
so,
cards again?
what was the
What
question?
were Dale's cards again?
So Dale's got the Sun and the 2, so that's a 20. That's a 12. You could also be. Actually, it's also a 21 because you can use the actual value of the tarot card. So that's 19 and 2. That's a 21. So you don't want to hit. In that case, I might actually hit for the person as well, and then we'll sort of figure out what's going on. Oh, look, they got an ace. Very good. Okay, so they're sitting on 16. Dale's going to be able to do whatever he wants to do. Sorry, Griffin's going to be able to do whatever he wants to do because he's got 21. And basically, we're going to see if you guys can help, whether you go bust. So you're on 17,
Stay.
which is actually also better than. Hang on, I can't add up here. 7 and 8 is 15. 16. Yeah, that's also better than my hand. So the only question is, would you like to hit Merlin? You're on 12.
What are my cards?
You have a Knight of Swords and a 2 of Cups.
Yeah, I'll hit.
Yep. So you've got a king. Unfortunately, you've gone
No
bust. Yep. So we are now just sort of. So basically, Griffin and Melanie, you guys are going to succeed at what you're going to do. But Dale's going to go too far or too hard or too fast.
It's a 60-year-old
Sounds
man
like a
being a
too-
60-year-old man.
Fast and Furious sequel.
Did you say 6-year-old or 60-year-old?
Too furious.
6
60.
as in
Alright.
6.
So we've
60.
got a Nesha at top speed, and Griffin was right out of the gates, and this person's quite confused as well. So they're as they sort of bump off cars and stuff, you're able to get around them. You guys are surrounding them, and they know now that there's nowhere they can run. What would you like to do?
I am immediately gonna just command them to just drop the knife.
Okay. So the voice of God does not work as a command.
Mm.
What you say, as long as it's true, will be believed as true.
Okay, I need to phrase it like that. Okay. Got it.
So you might say something like, "The best thing you can do is drop the knife." That probably is true. doesn't mean that they'll do it, but they'll believe that's true.
Okay, I will phrase it like this then. I will say, you holding onto that knife is hurting people. You need to drop it right now to prevent others from being harmed.
Yeah. And you got a 21? Yes. So I think that will work pretty well.
Awesome.
She'll throw it to the ground.
Hang on, she or
And
he?
she's-
Because it was a boy when it got out of the car, but it was a girl when it got
Sorry,
in.
my bad. It was he. Yep. I forgot.
I just wanted to find out how many people had changed hands for.
No. It's the same person. They throw it down. They start screaming and seeing the blood on their hands. They're going, "Oh my god! What did I do? What did I do?"
I go and collect them up and bring them into my loving arms and gently lead them away to somewhere quiet where we can have a little talk about how we don't play with knives.
Okay, the police are coming up the tunnel though, so this is going to be a pretty fast conversation.
Yeah.
And the knife.
And I don't know if they're actually going to remember anything, but we're going to see what do you remember happened? What was the dream you had? It looks like there was a thing in your head. What did you think?
Basically, they start saying, I just, the knife was just there, and then it was in my hand that I should kill and kill and kill, and it just had to happen.
Did it say why or who?
Let's have a test. Do you have a test on, and do you have any skills about psychology or this person's
I have bedside manner.
Yep, perfect.
I'm dealing with a crazy person.
In this case, you're doing what we call drawing with a blessing, which means you draw 2 and get the best, and you got the king, which is a full success.
Whee!
And
Did they actually remember anything?
look, they
Because I'm not counting that that's happened.
they're able to sort of, you're able to keep them calm, and they're really confused. Basically, there was sort of just something that spoke to them to put the knife in their hands and then to commit murder. That's what they knew they had to do.
Okay.
They didn't understand, and they kind of just knew that they had to commit, and they stabbed all the people in the car, and they're all dead, and then the guilt starts.
Need a greater restoration. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're very, very guilty and grief stricken.
Yep. Well, that's what happens when you stab a whole pile of people. We don't do that anymore, do we?
That's
They
right.
come with me and I
No,
lead
no,
them back
no.
to the police car and try to get them to put them in some nice padded cell.
Okay, yep. So the police are definitely coming up, and
I think I want to try and grab the knife, but I want to be safe about it. I don't want to go, oh, I'll grab this thing that's making people kill. I'm gonna run up to it. Just a quick lore background check.
Yep.
Obviously, I did read in the rule book that relics affect humans differently than angels do.
Yep.
If I pick this up, will my character know I won't be affected by whatever it's doing? Am I taking a risk?
You are taking a risk. You probably have to make a test depending on how strong it is. So there's probably you probably assume that there's what we call a virtus inside the knife, which is the spirit of an angel of some sort, or a demon, obviously. It's quite powerful because it can take over humans very quickly. Angels are not immune to these sort of things. You probably have to make some sort of test. You could, however, find a way to sort of manipulate it at a distance, perhaps.
I wonder. Okay, in this situation, we're in a tunnel? Is it relatively dark?
It is relatively dark. The traffic is, however, they've all got their lights on and there's honking, so there's a fair bit of chaos. But the police are quite close now, so if you do anything, they're going to notice. Sorry, Dale, did you have a question?
Yeah. In regards, at least for learning for PAX, if we're doing various campaigns.
Yep.
What in general, if angels are dealing with other demons or angels' relics, what generally happens?
So generally, you can use other angels' relics. Before the doors of heaven closed, they were sort of stuck to you. But when the doors of heaven closed, they became more transferable. And this is one of the big things that's actually really important about what's going on, is that technically A, they're waking up, and B, they can go to anyone. So there's a couple of powerful angels who are going around the world going, give me your relic because you can't keep it safe from the demons who want to take it from you. And you know, then of course they have more relics, so it's easier for them to sort of say, look, I've got all of them, so give me another one, you know. So yeah, it's certainly something. If you start to having more relics than just yours, other angels are going to notice, but you can absolutely use other angels' relics.
So we could technically pass our relics around to each other, or like keep them all
You
together.
absolutely can. And again, that comes back to those earlier questions about how much do you like each other? How much do you trust each other?
And what about demonic
Heaps and
relics
heaps.
in that regards?
So demonic relics, similar sort of rules. Yeah, it's just about what you do with them. And some of the demonic relics don't have much of a positive input, but yes, you can get them, and you can certainly not use them so the demons stop using them. That's useful.
But yeah, I think the test I want to make is basically I want to try and kick this artifact just out of vision, like the common area vision. Just like kick it in, like onto the footpath or like behind something, just so it's out of people's vision, so we can get back to it later.
Yep, sure.
Do I need to do a test?
Yeah, let's have a test for that. Absolutely.
What about down a drain?
Oh, I think that would be a problem.
Well, let's find out. So this
You
is
draw for me, please.
the moving test. I don't think you have any relevant skills.
I do not.
Okay, I got a full success. Fantastic. Yeah, you kick it off into a place where it's unseeable, but you know exactly where it is. Under a a bunch of papers.
Yeah,
Oh, is
that'll
it?
work.
Melanie, you froze for a little bit there.
It was me. Cool.
It was I.
All right.
It was I, Leclerc. Sorry.
The police have now got this policeman in custody. You can see that they're roughing him up a bit because he just killed 3 cops.
Yeah, I guess.
And
I mean, figures.
yeah, unless you want to intervene, of course.
I think
They basically sort of take him from you and throw him back on the ground and search him again, and then cuff him and then sort of roughly drag him to his feet.
I will intervene here. Nothing too drastic, but I will go to the cops that are roughing the bloodied cop up, and I'll say to them, like, remember, they were once, on the same force as you. Maybe you should think about that.
Fantastic.
So I'll be using the skill, a single sentence to persuade subtly.
Fantastic. Yep. And so you can draw with. I'll give you. This is very, very appropriate. So that you can draw with 2 blessings. So draw 3 cards and take the best.
Could you please do that for me? I think my deck is all because I had to reshuffle it. And I don't think it's shuffled correctly.
That's all right. So I've got. Wow. I draw 1, 2, and a 3. So
wow. Okay.
that's none of that's good.
Cops are very pig-headed, apparently.
So they're like, they take that as an insult. Basically, they're like, he fucking killed our captain. What the fuck are you talking about? This piece of shit's gonna rot in hell. And then they just walk away from you, like you've insulted them by suggesting mercy.
I just turn to the other 2 and just be like.
Even though you drew a 1, 2, and 3 here, would drawing his suit matter on this?
It would have, yep, because he was talking and it was cups, but it was all swords. Unfortunately.
So you know that unshuffled deck that you have there, Griffin? I would go with the unshuffled deck.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and swords.
I'm curious on what you would have actually drawn.
It's amazing. Yeah. Because I separated it into major arcana, and then I'm like, put it back together. I'm like, oh no. Anyway, all right, so that failed spectacularly.
While they're distracted with pushing this guy, though, Dale, Merlin arrives, is caught up with you guys now, and
wheezing, acting like a general 6-year-old man.
Yep. A car comes sort of screeching into the tunnel at the other end, and is sort of pushing cars. It sort of slides through other cars and then comes to a stop. And a scrawny-looking person, assumably human, gets out of the car and starts running across towards you. And he's not really looking at you. He's looking at the ground and he's looking around like he's wild and crazy.
We are going to have to stop them from accidentally finding a knife of doom.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
I kicked it away.
Yep. He starts
Using my thing
Where
as
is it?
insight.
Where is it?
Where's what?
Yeah, I will just feign ignorance. Be like, sorry, what are you after? Is it something of an import for you?
Did you lose your wedding ring? I always find it's very distressing when I can't find mine. Usually it's in the sink. Have you checked
He
the
looks
sink?
around. He pulls a gun from his back belt and starts pointing it around kind of wildly, which causes the cops, of course, the other cops to take notice as well. It's like, tell me where it is. Where's the knife?
I'll use my
Can I?
psychology skill to try and talk him down. Hey, we've
Yep.
just managed to avoid the situation. We'll get to where the knife is afterwards. Let's calm down for now. And
All right, I'm going to draw with a boon for you.
What's the difference between a boon and a blessing?
The blessing is the correct word. Sometimes
Thank you.
I say the wrong
Your
thing.
vocabulary wanders off.
What is your mastery?
so I've got the fallen staves.
So you're a behemoth, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't draw any of your suits, so that's a failure on that as well, I'm afraid. So you were trying to talk him down a bit, but he's just not listening, and he sort of looks and he's like, he's more just ignoring you and trying to find it on the ground. Like he's trying to hold the gun on you, but he's sort of like looking at the cars and trying to kick
Can
stuff
I?
up. And then he's sort of backing away and trying to sort of kick things up in the gutter. The police start drawing their guns and start coming back towards him, and you
Can
probably got
I
about a
try to
second.
sort of knock that hand out the way?
Yeah, sure.
Sort of get in nice and close and then just grab the hand and pull it out the way so that they are going to lose their grip on the gun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know if I was going to do that, I would be sticking a thumbnail into someone's wrist while doing
Fantastic.
that.
But you don't have any particular skills of your angel in combat?
I was going to use the stand your ground, but I don't think it quite works.
No, but you are a Nesher, aren't you? So if this is moving, I'll say it's moving.
Yes,
Even though it's
that'd
close
be
to
lovely.
striking, but you're sort of moving in and out. So if I get a coin, it'll count as a full success.
Cool.
It's a king, so also a full success. Yep. So he's distracted enough for you to move. Use your Nesher speed, just move inside his range and can knock the gun out of his hand. And he sort of looks around and he's like, "Damn it!" And then he just sort of looks back at you and he starts running back down the tunnel away from you.
So we get the gun out of his hand
Yep.
and then he bolts
Yep.
and
Leaves his car behind.
I guess it's time to chase people down again.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll pursue definitely.
Alright.
Where did the knife go, by the way?
I've kicked it off into I know where
Yep,
it
and
is.
you saw where it went. Yep. So it slid off into the gutter where you know where it is, but it's sort of marked by a newspaper, but only if you know it was there.
Yeah.
So you guys are pursuing. I'm going to draw for both of you. Nobody's got any particular skills.
Blackjack situation again?
Sorry?
Blackjack situation again, or
I'll just use the standard for now.
perfect? No worries.
Keep the action going. I got partial successes for both of you, and nobody has the moon or temperance, 2 fulls. So let's see, partial success in a chase. So you can stay steady with him, basically, but not catch up. Or one of you can catch up while the other one gets hindered. That's another way to do a partial, actually, with a sort of. So you'd be 1-on-1 with this guy.
Do you have a preference, Griffin?
For who catches up with him.
Yeah.
Because I think we should do it that one catches up with him.
In this situation, I would say that I wouldn't be the best to apprehend them. I don't have anything to secure them or anything.
I'm
just
quite happy to crash tackle people to the ground.
Yeah, if you can somehow apprehend them and actually physically hold them somehow, that'd be probably a bit better. Well, I can
Stand ground?
just run up later and be like, "Who are you working for?" or anything like that.
All right.
No, I was just going to sit on him.
Awesome.
You'd be surprised how well that works.
So Zephaniah I'm going to say that you basically get cut off by a car,
Mhm.
and people are sort of like jumping out and screaming at you, going, "What the hell are you doing, you crazy bastard!" And you know,
And then you say, "What are Americans doing in Canberra?"
Yelling at police officers.
what the fuck are you
Apparently,
doing? What do you think you're doing, you mad cunt?
much closer.
Get off
Sorry,
my
just-
fucking car!
Just get back in the car. It's all good. And they'd like try to like
Yeah.
politely run around the car.
Yeah, and his wife is just hitting you with her umbrella, going, "Get off the car!" But you manage to tackle this guy as sort of you pour on your Nesha speed and catch him up as he's coming out of the tunnel, and you sort of roll off the side of the road, tackle him to the ground basically. But you're not grappling. You're like you knock him down, and then you're a few feet away from each other. What would you like to do?
I want to go for him again and land on him such that he is not getting up again,
All right, I'll give
at
you a
least
test.
temporarily.
All right,
I'm not aiming for like brain damage or anything. I'm aiming for some sort of pin.
okay. So I'm just going to draw
So-
one card for you.
We're not going anywhere.
It's unfortunately it's a 4, so that's a failure. So he's too fast. There's something sort of, in fact, there's something strange about this person. He doesn't like he doesn't have
Does he move like a
Little
human, or
wings.
does he move like an angel demon thing?
hard like it's.
I mean,
human, but-
movements are my thing, so I've
Yeah,
got a chance.
it's not as it doesn't seem like like an angel, but it also seems like a very strange human, like someone who's like incredibly athletic, and
Mhm.
that's why you weren't expecting him to like basically he springs up in the air and and starts climbing up the bank onto another road and is running away from you again. You'll have to chase him down
It's
again.
an alien.
May
I know this one.
suggest
This is
that
in
we
Men in
use
Black.
Memory here to try and up the ante a little bit.
Sorry, what was that?
Like someone could make a memory so that they can like do a skill check.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, so skill checks, usually the skill check also succeeds the first time you get it. So if you want to add something, this would be a good time to do it. Chasing people, tackling people, martial arts.
Who's got a heading things off at the
sprinting.
past sort of who?
So you're in the right position. So you probably call for the memory, Melanie,
Oh, well,
Four.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
going to suggest you.
and then
Yeah.
someone else can give it to you.
Yeah. So what I was thinking was some form of, for the other guys, was some form of head them off at the pass so they can actually just
Ah.
have gone around the other direction.
Yeah, so someone else. So one of the other guys could have a skill in, urban navigation or something,
Dale, do you want to take head on this?
So you're spending a chip.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
we can.
I reckon we should. This is
Yeah.
a pretty serious situation, yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it 7 between the lot of us, or is it 7 each?
7 between the lot is what we
Yeah.
usually do. But that, again, that's the standard for a 3 to 4 hour game with about 3 to 5 people.
Yeah.
You can adjust it back and forth. I usually bring it down a little bit for smaller groups, so I probably would have done about 5 for you guys. You generally don't want people to feel like there's not a lot. Like you don't want people to feel like they're desperately running out. So usually at least 5.
Mhm.
Because you want people to feel like they can do it a fair bit because it's
Yeah.
the heart of the game as well.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so maybe I've forgotten. Is it Turfiel?
Tarfiel?
Tarfiel may have a memory about Merlin or
Who wants to go and head it off?
well,
I'll head it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to offer to Dale.
Merlin's
Who
at the
said
back.
Ardo? So Merlin's gone around the back and up, basically up the embankment on the other side, because they know that they're going to have to deal with that. So I remember this time when we'd been trying to work something, try to work out a little bit of political intrigue stuff, getting people sorted out in. I think it was in Berlin. And I think it was around the sort of early mid 30s.
Yep.
We were trying to support a couple of groups that were working on integration of making sure that everyone sort of worked together and like a peace and harmony type of thing. Because
Yep.
like that's how that would work. But we were vaguely aware there was a militia type group in the area, and we realized that there was a spy had come into the meeting we were having, and they just looked wrong. I think I had a moment of, "You're not supposed to be here," pointed it out to Merlin, and Merlin was like, "I got this," and went round the back. And then I denounced the person that was spying on us, and Merlin caught them as they attempted to run screaming out the door with the standard leg out to the side, Kasplat version.
Nice.
And then the other leg came round to stand on their back until we could deal with the culprit.
Cool.
How's that sound?
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
that works.
Yeah, so now we also know that you two were together in Berlin in the 30s, and so you can build on that as well. So
Does it sound like the right sort of time for
yeah,
that sort of
absolutely.
shenanigans?
Trying to
Shenanigans! My favourite.
trying to stop the Nazis, basically the proto-Nazis, and the Germany was full of
Maybe just a
different
little bit.
fracturing political groups at that time because they
It seemed like the right time to have someone spying on you. So
fantastic. All right.
I'm just making this stuff out of whole cloth.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
exactly right.
I like whole cloth.
Um,
It's an excellent fabric. I've just got this beautiful picture of a very bad costume moment now. Thank you.
All right, so that's I'm actually gonna let that succeed. So as this guy sort of comes up the top and starts running off down the road, he sometimes comes around the corner, and then Merlin just sort of clotheslines and knocks him.
Clothesline. Why not?
And we'll probably stop about 10. Does that suit everyone? That's about 20 minutes.
Yep, that sounds great.
That's fine. Yeah.
We'll just see how we're going and what we've covered. Yep, so you knock this guy to the ground, and you're able to effectively hold on to him for the moment. And luckily, Tarfiel's not far away. He's struggling though like crazy. He's trying to sort of get out of your grip, and he's a strong man. So
He's a wily one.
yeah, you'll have to maybe sort of sit on him or something to hold him still.
Maybe a
cool.
relic in the shape of a sword can help dissuade him from moving.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, he's like, oh. And now he's sort of looking at you, and he goes, "Oh, you're one of them, aren't you?
One of who?
You're one of those angels. You're the ones who got me into this mess."
Why? Who got
Yes.
you into whatever this mess is?
"Oh, you don't know who I am." He's looking back and forth. It's like, you don't recognize me. You haven't come across. I thought, yeah. He's like, "Well, you might know me, but look, in the Bible, they call me Cain."
All right.
Really?
I mean, he could be lying. That's true.
He could. And you know
So
what?
you're
I haven't been paying attention since biblical times, so
Yeah, I mean, who has? Like,
there's a lot of time between biblical times and now. And there's so many more interesting things to do than pay attention to the current location of a person who fails to die.
um,
Is that not how this works?
well, Cain
Yeah.
being cursed to live forever after the death of his brother.
You mean the murder of his brother by himself?
that's the story. But look, you saw it work, didn't you? You saw what happened. I was set up.
Set up by who?
Oh.
Well, that's what I've been trying to find out.
That's what you think it
for
was.
10,000 years. I've been trying to find that knife. I almost had it. In the Middle East, and then it got packed up by some goddamn archaeologist. I was so close. And then
Have we caught up yet?
What was that?
Have we caught up yet?
Yeah, you're all there now. Yep.
Okay, I'll let him finish and then.
Yeah, he's like, I almost got it at the museum, and then that angel turned up there, and then.
Huh?
Which angel? What are you talking about?
Oh, you weren't there for that bit, wasn't he? He's not one of you. Oh, you don't know that guy?
No, we kind of know each other. It's kind of like a loose connection thing, you know.
Well,
Which angel was it?
I don't know his name, but he was trying to get this. He just came bursting in, trying to get the knife off that lady, and I couldn't quite handle all him and all the cops, so I decided to come around another way. Listen, there's nothing you can do to me. You know the truth. I can't die. Doesn't matter what you do. So you can just let me go now or let me go later, but I'm going to find that knife and I'm going to prove that I'm innocent.
Actually, I highly doubt you'll find the knife. But let's say that I want to ask you a few more things, and I want to make sure that you are what they call legit.
Human phrasing.
Human phrasing.
Using your modern terminology.
Yes, I believe that's the term they're using nowadays.
Modern parlance.
Yes, to parlay and all that, and to make sure.
Parlance.
I just want to see, why do you want the knife? If it's the thing that, is now in the stories that you killed your brother with it, why do you seek it out again? To protect others from it? Or
if I can prove to you assholes that I didn't kill my brother, then I can maybe get this curse lifted, right? I have been alive for 15,000 years on this stupid goddamn planet, and I just want it to end. I am so tired, and I want my name cleared. Of course I do. I have been known as the first murderer my entire existence.
No, there's that bit before you killed your brother.
You're funny. Yeah, you're hilarious. I want the knife.
Sense of humor is very important.
Hey, Zeph, can you compel others to tell the truth?
I can't. I sort of can, in a way, if they're compliant.
Perfect
Kane, will you
opportunity.
be compliant?
I need you to do something for me. Nothing drastic. And I'll pull out my actual relic, which is a silver encased whiskey flask. And I'll pop the lid off, and it dangles off, and I'm like, just drink a little bit of this for me if you could.
Will you
I'll
get
hold on to it. I won't give it to him.
Yeah.
But I'll hold on to it and.
Yeah. He's like, will you get off me if I do?
I'll turn to Dale. I turn to Melon. I'm like, yeah, just
As long as you stay around us and don't go anywhere.
I don't have any reason to trust you. You're all of your kind want me dead. You're the reason I'm in this mess.
You have an angel of truth right there. You're talking to.
Hang on, I didn't hear what someone said.
You go, Riff.
Oh, I was just saying, no, I don't want you dead. I barely even, I know of you, but I don't know you. And I'm thinking that I just want to find the end of this sort of thing, I just want to wrap this up and make sure everyone goes on their merry way. But yeah, I'll just shake the whiskey flask in front of him.
He's like, fine, whatever. Takes it, has a swig.
I'll get it back off him.
Yeah.
And I'll just be like, are you Kane?
Of course I'm Kane. I've told you I'm Kane.
Why do you seek the knife?
Oh, actually, how long does your thing work? Maybe a 30 seconds?
A few minutes, it would work.
Let's go 3 questions. It's like,
yep.
I need to, I want to prove my innocence.
Okay, he's legit. All right. And then the third question would be,
are you the Cain from the Bible?
Let's not make this the Quickie Mart thing.
See, asking me
Really?
is Cain and the Cain is 2 different questions.
Yes, I'm the same Kane. I'm the first murderer. I'm the one who walked off into the land of Nod. look, he actually pushes his hair back and he shows you that there is a mark on his head, a sort of deep, burning thumbprint in his forehead. An angel gave me that because I apparently killed my brother, but now I found out, after years and years of searching, I figured out what happened. It's the knife. It was a trick. Somebody set me up.
I just turn to the other two comrades and I just like shake the whiskey flask and I go, he's definitely telling the truth.
Uh,
How does your relic work? Does it tell the truth as in the objective truth, or does it tell the truth as the person telling the truth believes it to be?
I would say it's from the person's perspective. It's all about it. It's not like comparing it to like a
universal truth.
consensual reality sort of thing. It is from the person's perspective.
There is an actual,
like if they are actually like falsifying things.
So it tells you if they think they're falsifying things, but not if they are actually falsifying things.
Yeah. So, for example, like in this situation, if Kane had been brainwashed to know that he was Kane, from his perspective, he is truly saying he's Kane. But in this situation, it's basically like, he's speaking the truth. He's Kane.
Yum, yum, yum.
At this point, you guys hear the loud flapping of wings, and another angel is sort of coming out of the sky.
Oh, great.
Do we recognize said angel?
Oh, let's find out.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to
find out on the next episode.
No, he's.
Not quite.
I was going to get. He is holding a flaming sword. It's. His name is Emmanuel. You don't know much about him, but he's an angel of the Shield of Faith. And.
He looks like Mr. No Fun.
Yeah, let's say that. He's actually, I'll probably get. Let's use this guy. He looks like this, and he's cranky, and he's walking up towards you. He goes, "He's my prisoner. I claim my right to him for the crimes that he's committed. Thank you for running him down." You also see he's actually bleeding as well. This guy, he's wounded.
With a knife wound by any chance? Because I'm getting really good at recognizing those.
A knife wound and a bullet wound, actually.
Ooh. It's interesting because something hit the ceiling in the art gallery. And do we see any crushed feathers?
Yes, certainly. You could interpret that there's bent feathers and pinched feathers around the tops of his wings.
So he might have gone boomf into a ceiling at some stage.
Yeah, it's like I've been tracking this criminal down. He has actually been kept in angelic custody for many centuries, and we will return him to that custody for his crimes against humanity.
Okay, I don't know about Tafiel and Merlin, but I think, we got the memory chips. We might as well use them up. So I reckon I would like to call upon a memory for myself.
What do you want it to remind you of?
I want it to be reminding, like, I still want to stick with the whole thing of like persuading and speaking and stuff. And I kind of want to have like a skill that will say like to just stop someone from like pursuing something and like to stop their objective, like, and just kind of go, yep, I'll just give up on what I'm doing.
Let's call it like
let it go.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna say
Let it go,
disrupting,
let
because
it
if you
go.
disrupt someone's process and they just get confused for a bit. Yep. So that's the memory you want. So someone else is going to give you a memory of you using that skill.
Got it. Yeah.
Dale, do you have one? Because otherwise I'm going to bugger things around for fun.
Fun's always the fun option.
You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready. Go for it.
So there was a brief stint where we looked at Disney as a way of managing people's expectations on what the world should look like, and going in for some fairly deep psychology from all three of us actually working together, trying to, I guess, infiltrate the whole thing.
Yep.
And start them down the path of sort of inclusivity and access and that sort of stuff. And we realized that there were going to have to be some times when people needed some big, deep messages that were quite hard to get a hold of, like the difference between giving up on something and letting it go. And that sort of feeling of, I don't want to let go of this because it's so important to me, but yes, it's still good for you. And we realized the medium of music worked so beautifully back in the 90s that what we're going to do is we just change a couple of lyrics in the songs as they were going through.
Yep.
So I remember we've been talking about what we wanted to get through and how we wanted to talk about empowerment and being allowed to be yourself and do the things you needed to do. And Z, you had this genius idea of the song Let It Go, and you adjusted some lyrics when they landed on the computer screen with the help of one of the interns who didn't realize that we didn't work there. And you wrote this beautiful anthem that people were singing everywhere. And it turns out you're an excellent songwriter.
Amazing.
I mean, yeah,
Awesome.
that
Yep.
kind of channels with the little things, big things grow sort of deal. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting to have this
I
character.
told you for
He's just
crazy.
like- he's just like
You're becoming
deep
this sort
down,
of,
he just wants to write music.
yeah, that's a great way to sort of nudge humanity. You're this angel who walks around the earth just changing the meaning of songs.
Oh, it's okay.
slightly.
I'll get you into John Lennon soon.
Fantastic. Yeah, so your memory is,
Imagine all the people.
yeah,
I will
No?
accept that. Yeah.
fantastic.
I
All
think
right.
it was just a weird phase for Z to be like, yeah, maybe we could do it for Disney songs.
Yeah.
And then like maybe and he looks back and he's like,
Can I share a deep personal life moment here?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
sure.
had a lot of really big changes in my life, and I look at what my life looked like beforehand, and it definitely started with listening to Frozen. And then listening to the songs on Moana are about, I'm going to go far from here and I know who I am. And then going through things like Encanto and Frozen 2 with the sort of, I'm going to grow from where I am. I'm finding my place in the world. It's okay for me to be me sort of stuff. So that's where I got that idea from.
Yeah,
I was going,
absolutely.
this is my personal experience, is that Disney has changed my life, which I hate, but I really love the music.
Some of the writers who worked on, or as the directors on Tangled, Frozen, and Encanto, they're all the same person, and they're all about surviving trauma.
Oh,
if
right,
you look
yeah.
at it. And there's a surprising amount of depth in them as a result.
Yeah.
Because Tangled, there's the abusive parent, and Frozen has this person who's basically afraid that she traumatized her sister. And has withdrawn inside herself. Yeah, so unfortunately, the mouse is evil, but some of their movies are amazing and full of depth. And
I quite like Up too, but I believe that's Pixar that's just
Pixar,
been bought.
Yeah.
Well, Pixar belongs to Disney now, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah. It used to be more independent, and now it's owned by Disney.
But Up is adorable.
Up is a great film. Yeah, I love it.
I will pretty much just what was the angel's name again? Sorry,
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
Yeah.
So I will walk up. I will just like kind of step towards Emmanuel, and I will just say like, Emmanuel, it's time to let it go. Stop pursuing him.
Yeah.
This is the end of this path for you.
Oh, Griffin, you are beautifully eloquent.
He lowers his sword and he's just like, I think you know what's going on here. We cannot allow the humans to know that this was all based on lies. That there's a fundamental lie at the core of their one of their holy books.
Well, you know I'm all about that, so please tell me what this lie is.
Well, that's what this one is insinuating, that he wants to change the record. He wants to be, to pretend that he wasn't this first murderer. And there's no way we can let that happen. Not to the public knowledge,
Yeah, definitely.
Kane's like, I want a fair trial. I want to talk to the Pope. I want to talk to the Pope.
We'll talk to the Pope. It's brilliant.
You
but
can't handle the Pope.
Definitely Z though would definitely be on the side of Kane in this instance.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's going to make sure that Kane can find the artifact and find the relic
Yeah.
supposedly and prove
Like-
his innocence.
Even
But-
though I'm part of the Shield of Faith myself, the same as Emmanuel,
Yeah.
I will say that Kane can't change the record if he dies of natural causes with a lifted curse.
That's true, but the curse, yeah. So, I don't know who put the curse on him. That's something that I don't know. Somebody, well,
Well, there's a thumbprint. Can't we like check the records?
it's an angelic thumbprint, so it won't have any fingerprints on it. It's like somebody pushed
I
it.
guess he's probably bathed enough to
Yeah.
wash the DNA off as well.
But it does beg an interesting question. Who framed Kane?
Who's
Was it the
powerful
same
enough
guy
to
who
do
framed
so?
Roger Rabbit? Or
It probably
no?
was, yeah. That's probably the same guy.
Or gal, it could be
Yeah,
either. Let's
absolutely.
be gender.
Same person,
Well,
absolutely.
non-binary.
So, I'll leave any one of you guys wants to have a final word about what you'd like to do.
I think like Z's kind of very determined in his mission,
Yep.
but he's also considering of his comrades, and he'll probably actually give Kane the knife.
Oh,
He would
okay.
say like, "This is it. Like, this is your chance to prove that everything was a lie, and to clear your name, because he's all about revealing the truth." So,
Yep. Fantastic.
but if anyone wants, to
I think
stop-
that's a poor plan, but I also think we're going to have to keep an eye on him while he's got that thing in his
It's a
possession.
very nice cliffhanger where you just go, you just sort of reveal that you've got it on you, and you just pass it over to him, and
Yeah.
Kane grasps it in his hand. He's like, at last, I can get justice.
But do keep
Next
in
time
mind-
on Tin Stars
keep an eye
Relics.
on you.
Yeah, we'll stop there.
Dun!
Dun,
Yeah, I
dun,
think
dun.
that's a nice place to stop.
Um,
Yeah.
Thank you. That was lovely. I'm
That's fun.
totally looking forward to running this.
Awesome. Yeah,
There will be chaos. I warn you.
that's what we like. That's what we like. We like chaos. And yeah, you're getting the flashbacks really well. You're getting the memories. You get how they work. And
Is there anything we did bugger up?
No, that all worked really well.
Any extra mechanics we should be aware of when it comes to packs?
Not really. I mean, the most, as I say, it's designed because I'm a pretty lazy GM. So mostly what you're doing is you're drawing cards. Oh, we didn't do drawing with a
A
Bane. Yes, is it called a Bane? It's
That I
called
don't know.
Is it like
I'm assuming because
advantage
it's
and
called a
dis-
blessing, it's also called a bane.
Bane and Signifier.
If we didn't have anyone signify get triggered, that's an important thing. Is that the more cards you draw, the more likely you are to have somesomeone's signifier come up.
Because you have a discard pile, don't you, rather than restacking them?
I shuffle every time, but that's what you don't have to. You can keep going through.
Because I was thinking you're not going to get that probability difference if you put the cards back in.
The card from play, yeah.
If you put back to the standard size deck.
It's up to you how you do that.
I like the, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? What about now?
Also,
Is this one mine?
It depends on depends on the nature of the session, right? If you're doing a lot of talking and you're a GM who just likes to let people go, you pull less cards. If you've got fewer players, you pull less cards. So in those situations, yeah, keep going through the deck, and because that's something that's really memorable is when they get one of their things. So everything goes to plan. Basically, the miracle wakes up and gives them an ability to fix whatever's going on, and then from that you build a miracle that they have for the
Okay.
rest of the session.
Mm.
Blights, they're called blights. Blessings and
blights.
blights. I borrowed it from another system that called them boons and banes, so occasionally my brain goes back to that. So if you have a blight, you draw 2 and take the worst, or draw 3 even.
It sounds like advantage and disadvantage sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's where they.
Fidelicus, yeah.
It's the same sort of thing. It's a very common mechanic. Do it twice.
Dale, did you fall asleep?
Um,
You looked asleep.
No,
So-
I actually just thought of something. Slightly off topic, but will relate to kind of everything. Do we have like a? Well, I should say, do you have a index cheat sheet for what's in the book?
Like what's in each chapter?
Yeah.
That
Uh,
would be so super helpful.
Other than what we got for the contents, just like an index of where we can quickly find like the miracle rules, etc.
I don't really, but I could make one.
So that
Um,
would be really helpful. I'd really like that.
The
I've been
documents-
doing something on my character sheet where I've been writing out what page number I should reference to go back to this, but it's all over the
And
place.
most-
Even an appendix where we could do something like that. Is there an appendix?
Probably the really important is going to be where I just was, which is pages 68 and 69 and 70. That's where the basics of tests are, and how to. That's where you really need to learn from, and the rest is sort of where character generation is. But I can do a few things like that. Because if you want miracles, you go to chapter 5, where you've got the random ones. Is it chapter 5? No, chapter 4.
Yeah.
Chapter 4 is the miracles. Yeah.
Steve, if you have time to make up something of a cheat sheet of what you think we'll need, that would be fantastic. But I know I'm also going to go through and try to make up something of my own because I find that actually helps cement things in place for me.
Yeah,
I remember doing it for like year 12, like maths and that sort of thing.
So generally what I'll do, I haven't done it to relics yet, but at least for my D&D books, I've got page markers on each important section. So I've separated like every single class has a page marker.
Yeah.
Every race has it, and then the important rules that need it. I've actually page marked them.
Actually,
I can do the same thing with relics if we're going to be using this book for most of us.
Yeah.
What if you do it for that book and I could just copy them over to mine?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Griff can do the same thing when he meets up with us whenever he does relics.
Yeah.
Griff?
Yes.
When are you going to be doing you? No. First question: do you actually have a book?
No, I do not. I've got it on my phone. I'm perfectly fine, like because it helps me a lot just to be like Control F. Where is this section? And it jumps to it. So that's fine for me for that. I don't have an actual book. I was looking to actually get one, but you had a second question? It sounded like.
Are you actually running a game at PAX, Griff?
That's the thing I'm a little bit confused about, but it sounds like
I think you're doing 3 and I'm doing 2, and then the rest of each of our shifts we're doing King's Poisoner.
Yep, that I believe is the plan. Hopefully that's okay with John. Basically, we're only supposed to have 3 people on a table, but not everyone can do every possible session, and I wanted one, backup. So we're splitting you guys in sort of 2.
Okay, cool.
And the timetable is on that link.
I think after discussion with Jonathan, I'm doing from 3 basically till 11 that day.
Okay.
So I think the 3 o'clock, the 5 o'clock, and then maybe the 7 and the 9.
Yeah, could you let me know about, because I'm still a little bit in the dark, because it's from the conversations we've been having, it sounded like I was completely out of relics and I was just with King's Poisoner.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. With the 3 GMs allowed, and
we've got a Nestus with us as well, don't we?
Yeah,
Nestus is the 3rd GM.
Yeah. So originally we were going to have the 4 of you, and but I knew there was an issue with that. I was trying to sort it out with John. It was really hard for him to understand what the fuck I was asking.
Because that happens.
Basically, if you've never been to PAX before, I should give you some sort of background. So PAX has a guy in charge of basically tabletop area, which is Delwyn, and he has given there's space in the tabletop area there's the game library area, there's all the demo stuff that somebody else with people who are showing off their tabletop games they've designed. There's the RPG area, which anyone can have a table there, but there's also a group called the ARC, which is the Australian Role Playing Creatives or something.
Community.
Australian Role Playing Community, thank you.
Which has got John in charge of it.
And John's done a great job with running that every year. And it it has a ticketing system.
Is he doing? Is he doing ticketing or is he doing the sign-up sheets? Because
Oh,
last
it's
year they
probably-
did
yeah.
the sign-up sheets, I think.
Sign-up sheets. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, because I know
Um,
Nick is taking over doing sign-up sheets. So Nick from Mess Griffin, I don't know if you met him. He's taken over doing the admin table for John and for Ark.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's doing computerized or if he's doing it by hand, but he's in charge of that. And then it's just you go each day they let you access the sign-up sheets as a player. And so at the start of each session, we'll go, okay, who have I got? Right, cool. Take it to my table and run it. Does that sound right, Steve?
Yep, that's right. That's right. So there'll be sign-up sheets at the central desk. There'll be a place where they'll be set up, and and basically players come up every morning and go, "I want this session, that session, etc."
And then they come up again at lunchtime and say, "Is there a session free?" And you go, "No."
So is that right? So you're running from 3 to 11 on the Saturday?
Effectively. So because I think, is that 4 sessions or is that 5 sessions?
3 to 5, 7. That's 4 sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's 8
there'll
hours.
be a one somewhere. I'll pick something up.
Anestus is covering some of those at the moment, or is that swapping?
No, I'm doing the final 2 sessions. I'm doing King's Poisoner.
Oh, so you're running. I see. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yep.
Because I think you've got me down for 2, and then
I've got you 3 to 5 and 5 to 7. Yep.
So we'll work it out.
Make sure you take time to eat. Make sure that you take time to hydrate. Normally, when I'm there,
I've run conventions. I know the drill. Poor bastards have had to deal with me in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, but because we have Pax, Delwyn, Ark, and then the people running the tables, there's a bit of a friction between all these different levels of organization, and also it's
bureaucracy.
Yeah, it's also more set up. The Ark is generally set up for someone who's, I want to run my D&D game. I'll be there and I'll run it on these days.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of fucked that system by going, I'm sending my minions and I'm not there myself.
Are you actually going to be not there yourself, though?
Yeah, no, I'm not coming.
Oh, sadness.
I
was. You changed your mind.
I got a free pass to GCAP, which made me think I might change my mind, but then I went, no, my original plan was best.
You had something else scheduled, didn't you?
I have the week after. I have a 4-day convention for my day job, and then the week after that, I'm helping with South by Southwest, the very first South by Southwest, at the tabletop section. And I was like, that's enough for fucking October. Actually, the weekend after that, I'm running a bunch of events at another convention about creatives and autism. So I am flat out.
I want to find out more about that one. Tell me later.
Yeah, it's online. So if you're
awesome.
It's the last week of October, and it's a digital convention for people with autism, and it's all sorts of different kinds of events. I'll post a link.
That's right up my alley. I'm always looking for stuff like that because we have a pioneered.
I'll grab that link too if I can.
Same, I just googled it and I have not gotten anything helpful.
Okay.
Because my partner is starting up with Asperger's Victoria for doing a DM for their D&D stuff.
Oh, great! Yeah, so there's this is a very interesting convention. Basically, it's not necessarily gaming focused, but basically, instead of just being let's all learn about autism, it's let's put a bunch of autistic people together to learn about each other and also learn about what they do. It's called Autistic Voices, and I will send you the link. I'm pulling it up now.
Cool. Yeah, super interested in that.
And so people are just going, this is my hobby, or this is how I write books, even though I'm autistic. Or okay, so here's that link in the Discord. It's called.
Thank you.
That's the
I may pass that on. The group I'm also helping at PAX for Aliens and possibly Robo Rally. They're also DMs for Asperger's Victoria.
Oh, great! Yeah, fantastic.
Who's running Aliens? Remind me.
Aliens board game, so AVP and all that.
Yeah.
It's a new game, isn't it?
2020 it came out. It kind of runs like the Doom board game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, many years ago there was a leading edge game that came out. That's right, Another Day in the Core is called.
Sorry if I've looked distracted. It's because I desperately needed bright red fingernails.
That's I'm looking up links.
I don't know. I've got bright red hair at the moment, so it worked.
Fantastic.
My hair won't take dye. It just
Um,
looks at it and goes in a violent fashion.
yeah, I know that feeling.
Actually, you probably remember Conquest, my
Jesus.
bright red hair.
Hmm?
You probably remember.
Yeah,
at
you had
Conquest.
very red hair at Conquest.
Yeah, it's
All
similar to
over
that, but
red.
Mine's a little bit darker at the moment.
Okay.
Fantastic. I'm going to end the stream now because we're still live.
No worries.
Um,
I had a
but
feeling.
we can keep
Scare
going.
everyone off.